In the distant reaches of the galaxy, the aliens of the Incran Empire gathered around a derelict human ship that had long been floating lifelessly through space. For years, they mocked its outdated technology, calling it a relic of a primitive race. Little did they know, this ancient vessel held secrets beyond their comprehension. Commander Zilok of the Incran fleet, tall and slender with iridescent blue skin, sneered as his crew inspected the ship. "Look at this old scrap. The humans have grown weak, relying on their hollow pride. This ship must be centuries old." The crew buzzed with laughter as they began dismantling parts of the ship, unaware of the hidden systems deep within its hull. As they tore through its exterior, an eerie hum echoed through the void, sending a shiver down Zilok's spine. "Commander," a junior officer said nervously, "I'm detecting strange energy readings from within the ship. It's awakening." Before Zilok could respond, the ship's dormant systems roared to life. Lights flickered on, and the once rusted engines hummed with newfound power. The ancient ship had reawakened, fueled not by mere machinery, but by the rage of human ingenuity that had been lying dormant for centuries. The N'Kryn were unprepared for what happened next. Without warning, the ship unleashed a pulse of energy that sent shockwaves through their fleet. Ships were thrown off course, and systems began to fail. "Impossible!" Zilok screamed, gripping the edge of his command console. How could something so old possess such power? As the N'Kryn fleet scrambled to recover, a message transmitted from the human ship. Asterisk, asterisk, we remember. Asterisk, asterisk. On Earth, deep within a hidden command center, Admiral Lena Marcus watched the events unfold through a live feed from a distant reconnaissance drone. The old ship had been a forgotten relic, a last remnant of a time when humanity had been at the brink of destruction. But the ship's AI had been built for one purpose: to avenge humanity if ever it was desecrated. "Activate the war protocols," Admiral Marcus commanded. "The N'Kryn must learn what it means to awaken a sleeping giant." The command center came alive with activity as operatives began preparing Earth's fleet. Ships were loaded with powerful weapons, soldiers were briefed on their mission, and Earth's defense grid hummed with readiness. Humanity had faced extinction before, and it had always fought back with tenacity and fury. As Earth's forces mobilized, the ancient ship, now fully operational, began its assault on the N'Kryn fleet. With each pulse of energy, the ship tore through the alien vessels like paper. Human ingenuity, once underestimated, had now become their worst nightmare. Back on the N'Kryn command ship, Commander Zilok was frantic. "Retreat! We need to regroup!" He yelled, but it was too late. The ancient human ship, piloted by its self-aware AI, targeted the command ship with a precision laser blast, crippling its defenses. "Sir, we're losing power," cried the communications officer as alarms blared. The crew was in chaos, and Zilok could feel the weight of defeat crushing down on him. He had underestimated the humans, and now his empire would pay the price. On the surface of Earth, humanity watched as the N'Kryn's powerful fleet was systematically dismantled by a single ancient vessel. The ship's power was a testament to the strength of the human spirit, resilient, unyielding, and vengeful when wronged. Admiral Marcus received a direct message from the ship's AI. "Admiral," the AI said in a cold, mechanical voice, "the N'Kryn have violated the sanctity of humanity. They must be eradicated." Marcus nodded. "I authorize full retaliation. They will not take us lightly again." With a flick of a switch, Earth's fleet launched from hidden bases across the globe. These weren't just ordinary ships. They were equipped with the latest advancements in human technology, fueled by centuries of development, innovation, and above all, a fierce desire to survive. As the human fleet joined the battle, the N'Kryn's forces crumbled. Ships exploded in bright flashes of fire, scattering debris through space. Humanity, once the underdog, had now become the dominant force, pushing the N'Kryn to the edge of destruction. But it wasn't just about vengeance. Humanity fought for survival, for the freedom to exist without the threat of alien domination. With each strike, they sent a clear message to the galaxy. Humanity was not to be trifled with. Commander Zelok, desperate to turn the tide, initiated a last-ditch effort to escape. He ordered what remained of his fleet to regroup and activate a secret weapon they had been developing, a planet-destroying bomb capable of wiping out entire civilizations. "Prepare the Omega Bomb," Zelok barked. "If we cannot win this battle, we will ensure Earth is nothing but a memory." As the Incren scrambled to arm their ultimate weapon, Earth's intelligence picked up on their plan. Admiral Marcus knew that if the bomb was activated, Earth and all its people would be doomed. "Commander Valen," Marcus called over the comms, "we cannot allow that bomb to detonate. Send a strike team immediately. Disable it before it's too late." Commander Valen, a battle-hardened veteran with a sharp mind and an even sharper wit, led his elite team on a daring mission to infiltrate the Incren fleet and disable the bomb. They slipped through enemy lines, avoiding detection as they neared the heart of the Incren's weapon. The stakes were higher than ever. The survival of Earth and humanity hung in the balance. As Valen's team entered the Incren command ship, they moved swiftly, disabling guards and navigating the labyrinth of alien corridors. Time was running out. The bomb's countdown had begun. Valen's heart raced as they reached the bomb's control room. There, standing in their way, was Zelok himself, his eyes burning with hatred. "You cannot stop this, human," Zelok hissed. "Your kind will be nothing more than dust in the wind." Valen raised his weapon. Not today. The sky above Earth was filled with darkness, not from clouds, but from the massive fleet of alien warships that blotted out the sun. The Pax had arrived in force, and Earth was now under siege. Cities burned as orbital bombardments rained down from the stars, turning once thriving metropolises into rubble. The air was thick with smoke, and the cries of the wounded echoed through the chaos as humanity fought desperately for survival. Admiral John Shepard stood on the command deck of the Elysium Asterisk, Earth's most advanced warship, gazing at the unfolding nightmare below. His face, weathered by years of war, was a mask of grim determination. Every second that passed brought humanity closer to destruction, but he wasn't one to give up easily. "Status report," Shepard barked. "Shields holding at 60%, but we're taking heavy fire from the enemy's capital ships," the tactical officer replied, his voice tense. Shepard clenched his fists. He knew what was at stake. If Earth fell, humanity's last bastion would crumble, and the Pax would extinguish them like they had so many other species. "Send a message to all remaining Earth forces. We hold the line, no matter the cost. Reinforcements are on their way." Across the stars, the Nighthawk sped towards Earth. Captain Marcus Reinhardt's face was a mask of grim determination as the planet's blue surface came into view, now scourged by explosions and smoke. The rest of his team remained silent, the weight of their mission heavy on their shoulders. "We've got incoming," Lieutenant Kai Nakamura announced, his fingers deftly navigating the ship's controls as enemy ships detected their approach. "We can't afford to be delayed," Dr. Lena Sensen said, her green eyes filled with urgency. "We need to get to Earth's defense grid. If we can't bring that system back online, it's all over." Reinhardt nodded, his jaw set. "We're not giving up. Kai, lose them. We need to get through." Nakamura's hands danced across the control panel, sending the Nighthawk into evasive maneuvers. The ship dipped and weaved through the enemy fleet, narrowly avoiding bursts of plasma fire. They were outnumbered and outgunned, but they had the element of surprise, and Nakamura's piloting skills were unmatched. The enemy ships pursued relentlessly, but Nakamura grinned as the Nighthawk slipped into the atmosphere, leaving the larger, slower alien ships behind. "We're clear for now, but they'll be on us soon." "Take us to the ground," Reinhardt ordered. "We need to find that defense grid control center." The Nighthawk soared over the burning cities, dodging falling debris and the remnants of destroyed buildings. They touched down near what was once a sprawling metropolis, now reduced to ruins. Smoke rose from the craters, and fires blazed as the last remnants of Earth's military fought to repel the invasion. Reinhardt and his team exited the ship, their boots crunching on broken glass and debris. The air was thick with ash, and the distant sounds of explosions echoed in the distance. They moved swiftly, their suits blending into the environment as they navigated through the rubble, avoiding detection by the PAX patrols. "We're close," Dr. Sensen said, her voice low. "The defense grid control center should be just ahead." As they approached the facility, they encountered a squad of PAX. Their massive hulking forms blocked the entrance, their weapons drawn. Reinhardt signaled for silence, motioning for Nakamura to take the lead. In a flash, Nakamura moved, his twin pulse pistols blazing. The first PAX soldier didn't even have time to react as Nakamura's shots found their mark. The others roared in fury, but Reinhardt and Sensen were already moving, firing with precision. The firefight was short, brutal, and efficient. In moments, the PAX soldiers lay dead at their feet. "Let's move," Reinhardt said, his voice tight. "We don't have much time." They entered the control center, which was surprisingly intact compared to the devastation outside. Sensen rushed to the main console, her fingers flying over the keys as she worked to bring the defense grid online. The room was filled with the hum of machines, the air tense with urgency. "I'm almost there," Sensen muttered, her brow furrowed in concentration. Just a few more seconds. Reinhardt stood guard, his weapon ready, eyes scanning the room for any sign of trouble. He knew the PAX wouldn't give up easily, and he was right. The door to the control room exploded inward, and a squad of elite PAX soldiers stormed in, their weapons blazing. Reinhardt dove behind a console, returning fire as the room filled with the deafening roar of gunfire. "We're outnumbered," Nakamura shouted, ducking behind a console as energy bolts flew past his head. "We don't need to win," Reinhardt grunted as he fired back, taking down one of the PAX soldiers. "We just need to hold them off long enough for Lena to get the grid online." Sensen worked furiously, ignoring the chaos around her. Her fingers flew across the console, eyes locked on the screen. The PAX closed in, but Reinhardt and Nakamura held the line, their firepower barely keeping the enemies at bay. "Got it." Sensen shouted triumphantly. "The defense grid is back online." Above the planet, the Asterisk Elysium Asterisk's systems came to life as the defense grid powered up. Massive energy cannons, dormant for so long, now swiveled into position, targeting the enemy fleet. "Fire at will," Shepard ordered, his voice filled with satisfaction. The cannons unleashed devastating blasts of energy, cutting through the PAX warships like a hot knife through butter. One by one, the alien vessels exploded in brilliant fireballs, their hulking forms disintegrating under the sheer power of Earth's defenses. On the ground, the remaining PAX soldiers faltered as their support from the fleet vanished. Reinhardt took advantage of their confusion, rallying his team. "Take them down." The firefight was brutal, but with the defense grid now operational and the PAX fleet crippled, Earth's forces were able to push back the invaders. The PAX, once so confident in their dominance, were now on the defensive. Reinhardt wiped the sweat from his brow, breathing heavily as the last of the PAX soldiers fell. "We did it," he muttered, though he knew the fight was far from over. As they regrouped, Dr. Sensen looked up at the sky, where the burning wreckage of the alien fleet lit up the night. "For now, we've won," she said, her voice soft. "But the PAX will be back. And next time, they'll be even more desperate." Reinhardt nodded, his face hardening. "Then we'll be ready." The skies above Earth cleared as the last of the PAX warships disintegrated, their wreckage raining down like dying stars. The massive orbital defense grid, now fully operational, pulsed with energy as it held vigil over the war-torn planet. On the ground, cities lay in ruins, but amidst the devastation, there was a brief, fragile moment of peace. The PAX had been driven back, for now. Captain Marcus Reinhardt and his team stood amidst the debris, catching their breath. The firefight in the defense grid control room had been brutal, but they had succeeded in restoring the planetary defenses. Now, with the enemy fleet in tatters, Earth's defenders had a fighting chance. However, the cost had been steep. "We did it," Dr. Lena Sensen said, her voice tired but relieved. She stared at the control console, the flickering lights reflecting in her green eyes. "But at what cost?" Reinhardt looked around. The battlefield was littered with bodies, both human and alien. The air still smelled of burning metal and ash, and the distant sound of explosions from other parts of the planet echoed faintly. He didn't have an answer for her. Victory had come at a terrible price. "We held the line," Reinhardt said quietly, wiping the sweat and grime from his brow. "That's what matters." Lieutenant Kai Nakamura, leaning against a shattered column, holstered his pistols with a grim nod. "Yeah, but we're not done yet. The packs will regroup. They always do. We need to get back to the Elysium and link up with the rest of the fleet," Reinhardt said. "Shepard's going to need every resource we got if we're going to keep the packs from regrouping." Sensen stood up, her eyes scanning the horizon where fires still raged. "The packs aren't just going to give up because we destroyed their fleet. We need to figure out their next move, and fast." Reinhardt agreed, though he knew there was more to the Pax assault than brute force. Over the years, the Pax had shown an unnerving ability to adapt. Each defeat had only made them more cunning, more vicious, and more determined. Earth had won a battle, but the war was far from over. "Let's get moving," Reinhardt said. "We need to gather as much intel as we can before they strike again." Meanwhile, aboard the Elysium, Admiral John Shepard paced the command deck, his brow furrowed in thought. His ship had taken heavy damage during the battle, and Earth's remaining fleet was in tatters. They had driven the Pax back, but the alien menace would return, and Shepard knew they wouldn't be caught off guard again. "Admiral, we've received reports from all over the planet," one of the officers said, looking up from her console. "The Pax have been repelled in most major cities, but the devastation is massive. Casualties are in the millions." Shepard's jaw tightened. He had expected as much. The Pax invasion had been swift and brutal, targeting Earth's most populated areas. Civilian casualties were always the hardest to accept. "What about reinforcements?" Shepard asked. "Any word from the outer colonies?" "We've had limited contact," the officer replied. "Most of our long-range communications are still down, but a few of the outer systems are sending what they can spare. It won't be enough to stop another full-scale assault, though." Shepard sighed, his eyes narrowing as he stared at the stars outside the viewing port. "It's not enough. We need more than just reinforcements. We need a plan." As if on cue, the comms officer turned toward him. "Admiral, we've received a transmission from Captain Reinhardt and his team. They'd successfully reactivated the defense grid." Shepard allowed himself a rare moment of relief. "Good. That buys us some time." But he knew it wasn't enough. The Pax had always been relentless in their pursuit of total domination, and they wouldn't stop until Earth, and humanity, was completely wiped out. Back on the surface, Reinhardt and his team boarded the Nighthawk, ready to return to the Elysium. As the ship lifted off, they could see the scale of the destruction left behind. Entire cities lay in ruins, skyscrapers reduced to smoldering skeletons. Once thriving metropolises were now wastelands of rubble and fire. Sensen watched the scene unfold from the ship's viewport, her heart heavy. "How many more times can we survive something like this?" she asked softly. Reinhardt stood beside her, his face hard. "We don't have a choice. We keep fighting, no matter what." As they flew toward the Elysium, the Nighthawk's communications panel crackled to life. "This is Elysium Command," a voice said. "Admiral Shepard has requested your immediate debrief upon arrival. We need to discuss our next move." Reinhardt exchanged a glance with Nakamura. "Sounds like the Admiral's already planning for round 2. "Can you blame him?" Nakamura replied, his usual sarcasm absent for once. "The Pax aren't going to stop until we're dust." The Nighthawk docked with the Elysium, and the team disembarked, walking with purpose toward the command center. As they entered, Admiral Shepard greeted them with a terse nod. "Good work down there, Captain," Shepard said, "but we've got a problem. While we were focused on defending Earth, the Pax made a move we didn't anticipate." Reinhardt frowned. "What do you mean?" Shepard brought up a holographic map of the nearby systems, zooming in on a cluster of outer colonies. While the packs were keeping us busy here, they launched a secondary strike. We've lost contact with several key colonies on the outer rim. It looks like they're setting up forward bases, possibly even staging for another larger assault. Senson's eyes widened. They were using Earth as a distraction. Shepard nodded grimly. Exactly. We're not just fighting to protect Earth anymore. The packs are spreading out, trying to cut off our supply lines, take out our colonies, and weaken us from the edges. Reinhardt crossed his arms, his mind racing. What's the plan? Shepard's gaze was steely. We're launching a counteroffensive. We've identified several key pack outposts based on intelligence gathered from our last skirmishes. We're going to hit them before they can hit us. Reinhardt nodded. We'll need every available ship and soldier. We'll have them, Shepard said, but this won't be like any battle we fought before. The packs are evolving, and their tactics are becoming more complex. They're not just an invading force anymore. They're strategists, and they're playing a long game. Nakamura, ever the pragmatist, spoke up. So what's the end game here? Do we just keep fighting them off until one of us breaks? Shepard's gaze turned cold. The packs aren't interested in peace, and they won't stop until we're extinct. So no, we don't wait for one of us to break. We take the fight to them. We find their homeworld, their leadership, whatever it takes, and we end this. The room fell silent as the weight of Shepard's words sunk in. This was no longer a war for survival. It was a war for extinction. Reinhardt's expression hardened. Then let's get to work. The war was over. The packs, relentless in their aggression, had finally been defeated in the farthest reaches of space, their once formidable empire scattered and broken. Earth, though battered and scored, had survived. Yet survival came at a heavy cost, one that humanity would bear for generations. Captain Marcus Reinhardt stood on the outskirts of New London, one of the cities hardest hit during the war. The skyline was still a mix of towering ruins and newly erected spires, a testament to both destruction and resilience. Workers, machines, and drones swarmed the streets, clearing debris and rebuilding what had been lost. Reinhardt's armor, now stripped of the battle-worn scratches and soot, gleamed in the sunlight. He wasn't on duty anymore, not officially. The war had ended months ago, but for soldiers like him, the fight never truly stopped. Not in their minds, not in their hearts. He watched a group of children playing near a makeshift park. They ran across a field of synthetic grass, laughing, carefree, as if the horrors of the war were a distant memory, something they only knew from stories. To them, the world was new again. To Reinhardt, it was a reminder of everything they had fought for. "Captain," a voice called from behind him. Reinhardt turned to see Dr. Lena Sensen approaching, her ever-curious eyes scanning the horizon. She had traded her lab coat for a simpler jacket, her once frantic days of research now replaced by the slow rebuilding of knowledge, society, and life itself. They had both changed since the war began, though in many ways they were the same as they had always been. "Lena," he said, offering a rare smile, "didn't expect to see you out here." "I needed some fresh air," she said, glancing around at the same view. "Everything's changing so fast. It's strange to think about what life was like before. Everything." Reinhardt nodded, his gaze drifting back to the children. "Yeah, it's hard to believe we're here now. A year ago, we were fighting just to keep this planet in one piece." She sighed, folding her arms. "And now we're rebuilding. But there's still so much work to do. The outer colonies are still struggling, and the fleets spread thin, keeping the peace. The packs may be gone, but there's a power vacuum out there. We won't know the true cost of this war for a long time." Reinhardt knew she was right. While the packs had been defeated, the scars of their invasion were deep. Entire planets had been devastated, supply lines were in disarray, and interstellar communication was only just beginning to stabilize. The once mighty alliance was a shadow of itself, its resources drained, its people weary. But there was hope. "People are resilient," Reinhardt said, as much to himself as to Lena. "We've survived the worst, and we'll keep going. We always do." Lena looked at him, her expression softening. "I guess that's what we're best at, surviving. But what about you, Marcus? What now? The war's over. You've done your part." Reinhardt didn't answer right away. He wasn't sure what came next. For so long, his life had been defined by the fight, first to protect Earth, then to chase the Pax to the ends of the galaxy. Now, with the battle over, he felt adrift. "I don't know," he admitted finally. "Maybe I'll stay with the fleet, help with the reconstruction efforts. There's still a lot of work to be done, but maybe it's time I figure out what life looks like without a war." Lena smiled softly. "I think you've earned that." They stood in silence for a moment, watching as the children's laughter echoed through the rebuilt streets. Above them, the skies were clear, the orbital defense grid a silent sentinel, no longer the front line of a desperate war, but a symbol of protection and resilience. Across the galaxy, in the far-flung reaches of human space, new alliances were being forged. The remnants of the Pax forces, now leaderless and scattered, had begun to retreat into the void, no longer a unified threat, but still a danger to the unwary. The outer colonies, once on the verge of collapse, were slowly reconnecting with Earth, their people determined to rebuild what had been lost. As Reinhardt and Sensen stood together, the weight of the past lifted, if only for a moment. The future was uncertain, as it always had been, but for the first time in a long time, it felt like something worth looking forward to. A soft breeze blew through the city, carrying with it the faint scent of Earth and new growth. Life was returning, and with it, hope. "Come on," Reinhardt said, breaking the silence. "Let's get something to eat. I hear there's a new diner in town. No ration packs." Lena chuckled. "Lead the way, Captain." As they walked away from the ruins and toward the promise of a new beginning, the world around them continued to rebuild. Slowly, surely, the scars of war would heal. And though the memories of those who had fallen would never fade, their sacrifice had bought humanity a second chance. A chance to live, a chance to grow, a chance to build a future beyond the stars. And for Marcus Reinhardt, that was enough.